Hey there, Bloomers and friends. It's Rev Kev coming to you from the Bloom office. Tonight is the last rehearsal for Bloom Tones. It is just amazing that we've come to the end of the Bloom Tone season. This next Sunday will be their very last time for Bloom Tones for this particular season. So we're looking forward to being there, to being together and to having that music ministry that's been so vital in our congregation since it started last September. We'll look forward to starting again next September and doing another year of music. I rushed back from training over in Riverside, where I was going through my every 5 years ethical boundaries training, and we had discussions about professional sexual ethics and discussions. Another module was on interreligious and ecumenical relationships ethics, and then the other module was on can you or can you not unpoliticize our faith ethics. And so it's been quite a busy day over at the First Christian Church of Riverside today, and I just got back because I want to be here for the Bloom Tones rehearsal. But you'll notice I'm wearing orange today. I got my UCC gray shirt over it, but I'm wearing orange because that's what kind of the word went out. If you want to support students in their National Walkout Day today, National Walkout Day to protest gun violence, that you could wear orange. So I decided to do that. That's a part of the fact that, even kind of related to that module about can you unpoliticize our faith, that's because we as a congregation are committed to agitating for God's peace and justice in our communities and around the world. And so I wanted to support the students in what they're doing today. We're planning to have some folks that would be supporting the students here in Palm Springs a week from Saturday on the 24th as they gather in the Palm Springs High School Stadium as another gathering and rally about gun violence. It's because we as a congregation are supportive of justice movements, because we think that that's a part of our faith. It is certainly a part of the message of the prophets, and I too believe it's very much a part of the message of Jesus. And it is what we offer, and one aspect of the life of our congregation is our social justice ministry, our Christian social justice ministry. In that realm, we have been the sponsors for the last 4 years now at Spring Fling of the Bloom in the Desert Ministries Community Justice Award. And I can tell you that the first 3 years, the first year with Tracy Turner, the second year with Paul Zach, and the third year with Rosa Lucas, this year was as meaningful as ever, as we heard from Alexis Ortega, and we celebrated and honored her ministry for justice for LGBT youth in the East Valley. So Russ was at Spring Fling last Friday night and recorded the ceremony for Alexis receiving her Community Justice Award. And so I am basically here to introduce that and say that I hope that you will look at this. And also, I hope we'll see you this Sunday in worship. As always, if you can't be with us in body, please be with us in spirit. And as always, please keep us in your prayers and enjoy this presentation of the Community Justice Award last Friday night.
These young folks didn't invent the internet. They are now using social media in ways that are profoundly changing how we agitate for peace and justice. Turning to Alexis, she was raised right here in Palm Springs. Her parents are Ruben Ortega, an immigrant from Jalisco, Mexico, and Mary Barrera, a third-generation Mexican-American from the Pacific Northwest, and they're both here tonight, along with a bunch of their friends. So much of Alexis' childhood in Palm Springs was rooted in achieving academic excellence, following her father's advice. Go to school so you don't have to work hard outside like me. She succeeded in doing that She became the first person in her family to attend college. She graduated in 2009 from Stanford. With a degree in economics. While in college, she became totally involved in justice issues, first with racial issues, then with sexual identity and politics. When she returned to Palm Springs after college, she sought to stretch her wings and found that she could have an impact in her community. That she had an important voice for justice, and one that was missing in the scene in Palm Springs, as she described herself as a queer Mexican woman of color. She has focused on building safe LGBTQ spaces for youth and folks of color. She has made many friends and adult relationships, which give her access to resources to help with marginalized communities, which are often isolated, threatened, and discriminated against. Here to tell you a little bit more about her work is Charles Robbins.
Good evening. So many of you know that my husband Damon and my brother-in-law Jason have been attending Bloom in the Desert for 10 years as members. And we were married by Rev Kev. And for the past 7 years, I've had the distinct privilege of being a very proud board member of the LGBT Center of the Desert, commonly known as the Center. And so 7 years ago, when I joined the board, the organization's name was the Golden Rainbow Center. And its mission was focused on elder seniors in our community who needed services. But we changed the mission, and we changed a little bit of the scope so that more people, including young people, could get engaged in our community. So it's on behalf of our board of directors and Mike Thompson, our CEO, who's here, that I have the honor to share a few words about Alexis's work at the center. And we're so proud of her. Alexis Ortega joined our staff in the fall of 2016 as the newly formed Manager of Donor Engagement, where Alexis helped craft and tell stories of the center's work of creating vibrant community. On January 1 of this year, Alexis was promoted again to a newly created position entitled Director of Community Engagement. While Alexis continues to shape the center's messages and mission-focused storytelling, her primary focus is establishing and developing partnerships that advance the center's mission and strategic initiatives. Significant among these partnerships is the one with Building Healthy Communities Coachella. So over the past 18 months, Alexis and the team at the center have been steadily increasing the center's presence in the East Coachella Valley, where the needs of LGBTQ community differ distinctly from those in the West Valley communities. And you can imagine why. The center's primary focus in East Coachella Valley, which Alexis leads, is creating meaningful engagement opportunities for our youth, our LGBTQ youth, in areas such as Coachella, Thermal, and Mecca. And to add to these wonderful initiatives, Alexis also was among those who envisioned, planned for, and launched the very first East Coachella Valley Pride just last year. Plans are currently underway for the second event. Mark your calendars, April 7, 2018. 28, the date changed. That's planning. So, that deserves a big round of applause. We couldn't be more happier and more proud
So Alexis has become a strong voice for justice among the millennials in the Coachella Valley. We look for many, many more wonderful things to come from her in the future. So on behalf of Bloom in the Desert Ministries, we are proud to present the 2018 Community Justice Award to Alexis Ortega.
Thank you, Bloom in the Desert Ministries, for this honor. Rev Kev, Jim Nixon, who I had the pleasure of working with a few years ago, and the woman who introduced me to Bloom in the Desert, who's not here tonight, Elaine Wayne Meyerhofer. Fun fact, I met Elaine through the Stanford Club of the Desert alumni group, so that's how I got connected. So talking about tonight's theme, gotta have some friends, that was one space in which we created a friendship, so shout out to Elaine. I prepared some remarks today, so I'm just gonna read from these. As I speak to you from this stage, I speak with the intonation of my ancestors, of my father and my mother and my siblings, like the ups and downs that bring us together, whether addiction, forgiveness, truth, or pain. I also speak with the tone of my friends, shout out to Table 6, and of my beautiful and brave partner, Desiree, one of comfort, ease, and the joy of authenticity. I also bring with me the cadence of those I conspire with, many of whom are here today. That cadence is forever adjusting, sometimes just keeping up, sometimes setting the pace. The reason why I mention all these folks is because this award, I truly believe, belongs to them. It belongs to all of us. It is because of my community, those folks that I just mentioned, that I have the privilege to do this work. And it is a privilege, and that I can do so securely and happily. And it's for my community for whom reality has not yet delivered the same levels of security or happiness that the work continues, and why I continue to do it. You know, it wasn't long ago that I found myself in search of community in this place that I will forever call home when I came back from college. And even before so, I often longed for more. Maybe that's because society teaches us that we aren't enough and to look outside ourselves for contentment and for love. But thankfully, nowadays, that couldn't be further from the truth. This is my community, this is my home, and I love it. So, as I think about the title of this award, Community Justice, I think about the unique role that each of us plays in creating more justice here and in the world. And so what comes to mind is a quote by the author Bell Hooks, who says, "There can be no love without justice." So as I accept this award on behalf of all these beautiful folks who I mentioned, I hope that everyone here continues to put forth the guiding action. I believe it's an action, not a feeling, that drives us all a little closer to justice, which is love, the action of love. Thank you so much.